Hello everybody, this is the monthly trend scan of the futures market for the month of November. So let's have a quick walk through the different asset classes here, starting with the with US equities. So this is the S&P future, the ES. So the ES coming from the higher time frames, and that's what really drives the long term, right? Here on the quarterly chart, we see that's a very strong EMA trend, really strong. I mean, it basically the bars are sitting on 8, and they're only quick pullbacks to the 21. This is a sign of a very strong and very smooth trend. We can see it here. Well, here's a form of consolidation. We had another consolidations on lower time frames here and here. This is the Corona spike low, right? This is this big bar. So if this is a dominant consolidation over the last 15 years, well, then this can be seen as a momentum move. This is a consolidation, and it's an S1 consolidation that has morphed into an S2 as it took a bit longer. And well, the longer it takes, the stronger the signal. So this basically will trigger, if we get an entry, well, this will basically tell us that we should see a much higher prices here in US equity, and we should even go vertical. Like there should be an acceleration in price. So this is the pattern on the weekly chart. It's a turtle pattern, and we basically need to break this high, right? And then we can put a stop here. It looks like, oh, it's a late entry, it's a low stop. But if we look at the monthly chart, well, that's still a low risk idea entry here, right? And have a stop here, and basically riding, right, the quarterly chart for breaking to a new highs and then way beyond. Let's go to the metals. Let's have a look at gold. So gold as well. I mean, I talk a lot about the silence before the storm, and that's what we see here as well in the metals. Like we are in an extended consolidation that has already triggered an S1 with a stop down here, and we've got another S1 on the weekly. So we've got a pattern within a pattern within an overall S2 pattern. And what's forming up here as well on the weekly now, well, it's an S2 pattern. So we basically have 4 patterns intermingled one within the other, and that puts in a more enormous amount of energy into it. So what we're looking for, and it's really comparable to the US equities, we're looking for a momentum move like that. So a big bullish move once we can break to a new high. Well, we don't necessarily need to wait for a new high. Well, we can act on signals on lower time frames, and in this case, well, it's a weekly chart pattern, or it's a monthly chart pattern, which is the S1 here, right? And I actually quite like the setup here. That's a double top, and that could allow for a nice entry into this turtle pattern on the weekly with a stop down here, and it might give you an even tighter or an even better low risk entry and idea. Let's have a look at crude, at the energies, crude oil. So crude oil, I mean, we see the impact, well, we see some impact of the Middle East conflict. We had a gap here, but we didn't see a lot of follow through, right? So that basically tells us that there might not be immediate involvement of Iran, because Iran, when there were talks in the media that Iran could close the Strait of Hormuz, I think where 20 or 30% of crude oil passes through. Well, it doesn't look like, right? Otherwise we would have increasing prices. The market sniffs quite well when things like that, even if they're geopolitical, might happen. So what we see here playing out is this is an S1 pattern. We had a couple of test bars. It has made its first stop run move. It could not break this level, another stop run level. So now we're consolidating. So it's basically doing, I mean, if you didn't know that there's a Middle East conflict, it's just a normal price action, right? Coming back to the base, finding resistance at the 200, right? It cannot break it in the first run. I mean, that's very normal. And coming back here as well to the 200, that's what we were actually looking for. So normal price action here on crude, despite the Middle East conflict. Now let's have a look at natural gas. Natural gas is quite interesting because it's the last commodity here in the list that is still in a downtrend, and we can see it here how that's a big slide the future chart, and it has been consolidating here for quite a while, and it has been well overextended, but consolidating for a couple of months. Well, the moving averages catch up, and the 8 and the 21, well, they're dynamic resistance on the overall way down. Here now, this is an important level. If that level breaks, definitely breaks, right? If we break away to the bottom, where we should actually see another quick move lower, maybe to the $2 level, and that could then be the last move. I'm basically looking for natural gas to join the rest of the crowd to get into an uptrend of which indicates the commodity super cycle. Now let's have a look at the US dollar index future, the DX future. As well, here we've got a pattern, we've got an S1 pattern, nice test bar, clearing the lows. So we've got the first momentum move, breaking these two levels, right, stop run levels. So now it's not uncommon, right, to get a pullback to the 21. So we're a bit short of that. I see that coming lower. And as well on the daily, well, we've got an S1 pattern. This is a test bar, but it should actually come lower, at least test the 21. I'm not sure if we're actually going higher from here, because this high is marked by the midterm US elections, and that's an important level, right? It's a rejection wick. Well, if we get there, if we break that level, well, then we should quickly run to the target of the failure pattern. This is a pattern, a quarterly short pattern, or well, we could actually re-break, right, go below the red line. Well, that would then be a re-entry signal, and then we would look for a dollar getting weaker and weaker. And the weak dollar actually means has a positive impact on other commodities, especially precious metals. And the precious metals are already lining up for a big move higher. We could see both rising, right, the dollar and precious metals, especially if there's geopolitical conflict, and well, the market will tell. Thank you.